If I call the December 2024 Planning Commission meeting to order, it's 5:20. November 2nd. We're gonna skip down to agenda item 4 because the first 3 agenda items just require a signature. They're considered minor plan reviews. Agenda item 4 is site plan review for 17 Salisbury Street. Is anyone here to talk about that?
I can't answer any questions. If you have.
Okay, all right. Now, it looks like what I read, they just want to put a temporary like shelter on some skids,
It's a shed.
shed.
It's it's a not-for-profit, so they collect bottles and cans
Oh,
and
okay.
stuff.
All right.
And that's what they're gonna use them for, is from
Bottles and cans.
And then they need a place, unfortunately, to lock them up because they're walking away. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. Okay.
At the same, did they move from near the park? CNY Snap, is that their
It's-
location?
It's down by what used to be.
They've been there.
Yeah.
We did
Right, but
something
it
else.
used to be by the park,
It
right?
used to be across from
By the,
Pagny's on
by the big.
Franklin Street.
Central Ave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Now it's at the end of software.
I mean, to me, it seems like a legitimate reason to have a shed to, if they're gonna collect cans and bottles to benefit the,
So
that population.
They had some area variances that had to get approved, and just like them. There's one stipulation that you guys can put is that their lot is not paved, it's a mess, so they're, because, any city in the property, their parking lot has to be
Paved,
impervious,
right.
so.
So we can require that.
You can reiterate, it needs to be impervious within 2 years unless they,
Oh,
and
okay.
because it is a not-for-profit,
Right,
what we added was. Unless they show significant financial
hardship,
whatever.
right,
Right.
okay.
They're usually struggling with it.
But, I mean, obviously, if they can't do it, we want to get caps fixed
Yeah.
before we want to make them put a paid lot in.
Yeah.
So I guess we need a motion, either approve or not to, approve this, proposal, with the contingency that they, somehow make their parking lot impervious in the 2-year time frame, as long as it's, economically feasible for this nonprofit. This sound like a reasonable,
I'd make a motion.
can I make a motion to that? All right,
I'll second that.
second. All right, further discussion?
The approval was conditioned on.
Making the parking lot impervious within a 2-year time frame pending, economic viability for the nonprofit.
So they come to you if they had some economic, to show this economic.
Almost, the reason why I added that, 'cause I'm almost 100% sure, I mean, they can barely,
That's what-
the vets are
yeah.
volunteer, I just don't want to have them have to put themselves in the unneeded financial, I mean, they're
Agreed.
collecting bottles and cans to pay for the vets and the
Yeah.
Right,
cat
right,
medicine and everything else,
I
but
agree.
I still have to be consistent with the way we've been handling these, at least make an effort to get it paid.
right,
Sure,
sure, makes sense.
that works for me.
All right, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody abstain? All right, motion carried on agenda item number 4. All right, agenda item number 5 is the site plan review for 117 Homer Ave. Abdullah Omar, on behalf of Mountain Village LLC, seeks a special use permit for the purpose of opening a smoke shop / retail store within a professional office district. Is anyone here to speak on their behalf? Okay. All right, you want to tell us a little bit about what you want to do?
Well, we want to go for like a convenience store mainly. We'll have some tobacco stuff in there, cigarettes, other similar stuff, but it's mainly gonna be like a convenience store.
Now, somewhere I read that this was not approved by the county, the special use permit. Can you tell us a little bit about why that wasn't approved?
Uh. Yeah.
No, so I hate to go, they're kind of the experts in this area and I hate to go against their expertise, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But because if they said no, it's like, then we have to have a rationale why we would grant that.
All I know is we did get some code issues with the place. And, that's about it.
Well, that's their report there.
Oh, that's the one from the county?
From the county, yeah.
Okay.
No, because my PDF application wasn't working. So I had to send them all individually,
That's right. So that.
which I don't, you know, I normally like to put my
Oh, the school, okay, so too close to the school.
PDF hand.
Right, across from the.
Okay,
I spent all day today with.
So it's
Almost.
not far enough away from the types of properties listed
in
in
the
our
city,
local law
right,
is what they're
what the
stating.
county said,
So you got the park right there, you got the loose,
Mhm,
any youth oriented
I see,
and the karate place across the street.
Yes, right,
Okay.
all right.
Yeah, screenshot.
Yeah, that's.
Yes. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Um. Well, again, my thing is I'd hate to go against the county's rule or their interpretation of the law and say, you know, we're approve it if they're saying it's not allowed, you know, based on our current law. Other comments from the commission? You want to see this, Tony? That's what the county came up with. Did you guys think of like maybe going somewhere else, like a different, further away from the schools and the parks and stuff like that? I mean, hate to turn down your business, but if it's too close to the school and too close to the park, I mean, are there any other locations that would fit what you're looking for?
Not that I know of at the moment.
Not currently.
Not, yeah, we didn't look.
Are you renting this property?
Yes.
You already went into a lease?
We're the landlords.
Oh.
So you're the landlord of the property that's in question. Okay.
Initially, it was thought to be a grocery store, not a smoke head shop. And that's what we thought was going in there.
So you rented it with the idea it was gonna be a grocery store rather than a pet shop.
Deli, convenience store,
Convenience store.
deli, you know, that type of
Okay.
thing. But different products showed up.
I see.
It's in our lease that says, so this is what we wanted.
It's in the lease to be a grocery store, but you guys were making it into a smoke shop?
Not like a smoke shop. We do have tobacco in there, yeah. That's about it. We do have like some glass pieces, but nothing more.
So we initially shut them down
Oh, I see.
because of the items in the store.
So that's why they didn't have it out.
Yeah, they didn't have, they didn't have it. They weren't allowed to have that stuff.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. All right.
They didn't follow proper
Protocol.
procedure.
Okay.
Or conduct any business really
Yeah.
without an operating,
I was gonna say, doesn't,
any business.
right, would need
Requires an
approval.
operating in places. That open without any going through that. You know,
Getting it out.
uniform approval regardless of what type of business that you
Right.
plan to operate, regardless of the zoning district.
Certificate of occupancy.
Excuse me, yeah.
We have a member of the public who wants to
Chair that.
join me. You're welcome to have a seat right there.
All right, further questions from the board? Anything you want to ask about this proposal?
What exactly are you looking for?
Well, special use permit.
Yeah, to utilize this. Right?
Right, right.
Well, it's a convenience store, period.
What's that?
It's a convenience store, period, with a special use permit and a public, in a
Residential.
office.
Right.
PO district.
Professional office district.
Yeah. If you look at the table, it says a convenience store needs a special use permit. There's other stuff he needs on top of that to carry what he had in there, but to run a convenience store, you still need a special use.
To the commercial area.
Professional model.
professional occupancy. So the ice cream caboose place, is that just outside the pale or?
The ice cream caboose place was before my time and it was, I'm assuming it was legal because the former zoning officer would have done something with it if it was. I can't comment on that. That's not why we're here. But it's a good question. I mean, I don't have that information from me. Okay, great.
I don't think there was ever an office in there. I had like a gallery in there, and then at one point before I bought the property, there was a grocery store in there or paint store. So it was never really an office per se, but I'm not quite sure how the definition goes.
Well, so was it changed multiple uses. In this case, it specifically calls out a convenience store as requiring it.
Like,
A special use permit. Does anyone have my paperwork?
This is part of it.
It's part of it, yeah.
Can I see that?
You go right up there.
You have the rest of it there?
Yeah.
It says-
Right, you want?
Yeah, let me see that. The table should be in here. Even the retail stores. Yes, special use permit, my community says, I misquoted it. It's any retail stores, can't have a special use.
Ultimately, it can be a textual and fall under those parameters.
Yeah.
You know, the purpose of a special use permit is it gives a body like this the ability to vet whether that's gonna fit that particular area of the community regardless. It's not just, it's not used by right. That's exactly why special use permits exist, to make sure that it fits with the character and go through that analysis, hit those tests. Just that. Yeah,
But initially, they hadn't filed the right paperwork,
that's correct. They had any authorization.
and that was
operate
not,
business.
that was not our responsibility.
Are you the landowner for the property
yeah,
owner?
no.
No, that's not your
Okay, all
responsibility.
right, that's,
In response to the Frosty Caboose question, the special use permit was approved by the planning commission December 27th, 2021.
okay, so they didn't apply for that.
Yeah, but the application was needed, basically, the right application is needed.
Well, no, they applied,
Yeah,
Right.
they approved,
no, I know about.
For-
it.
for-
Right,
X businesses and
Yeah.
professional office zoning district, you have to
Right.
get a special use permit
regardless. Yeah,
regardless.
Yeah.
So I mean, it makes sense to be selling ice cream across the street from the park, but maybe not a smoke shop or
Smoke shop
tobacco
across the park.
type products is what we're hearing. So,
We,
you know, that-
we can take the stuff out. Tell me what we can't have. And that's it. I didn't know we can't have tobacco. I thought that was fine. But if it was like tobacco products, I can get that out by tomorrow. It's no problem with that.
so I don't know what the definitions are, what we're allowed to tell you to have and not have, but,
Seems like it'd fall back to the original idea of just being a convenience store.
Yeah, that just like groceries and that'd be it.
The initial idea was to present something in the community that you can necessarily compete with the hospital food that's there. That was the whole idea. A little change, you have an ice cream shop there, you have sandwiches here, sodas, whatever, but not the other stuff.
I know I'm not in a position to provide legal advice, but maybe I can provide some objective context or recommendations for these folks. And I know it's not a good business model to continue to remain unopen regardless, right? But, based on the comments, and I appreciate these guys being forthcoming about what they are willing to do to continue to operate. Sure. Come back. And all these things that are being discussed, present a plan that'll show exactly what it'll look like, exactly what they intend to sell, exactly what, like what they won't sell or what you folks, might.
Indicate
prefer
on
aren't
special.
the right,
Right.
just based on this discussion right here before any, official action's taken, I think that the board's provided them some context as well. So that would be my suggestion.
Yeah, I mean, we have.
Because you don't want to get yourself in a position where you approve it conditionally
Right.
and don't do this, this and this.
Right,
And they're being forthcoming and then they sell something that doesn't fall
wasn't
within
on
one of
that
those,
list, right,
parameters and then we shut them down.
right.
And I suspect it'll be hard
Would it be
Take it
possible
sort of.
for you guys to come back January sixth? That's our next meeting. It's a I think it's the first Monday, in January. I believe that's what it is. Is that when their next meeting is? And just come back with a plan so we can say, yeah, this is what they're gonna sell. And this is only what they're gonna sell. You know, there's not gonna be anything else, because if you sell anything else, they can shut you down again, you know?
Especially in the retail area.
And we don't want that to happen, you know, but at the same time, we don't want certain things sold so close to parks and things like that. you know?
Again, within the parameters of a convenience store, are there special permits for selling fresh foods? Such as hams and sandwiches and what have you?
So there,
The health board has to come in, what have you?
exactly, there, it goes from that all the way, like just to use tobacco as an example, like their New York State licenses have to be approved, and that opens the door to a lot of oversight. But the health department has to approve all that stuff, like a food truck has to get a
Yes,
day-to-day permit if they park.
yes. So I'm alluding to that. I'm aware
Right,
of
so-
that. That's why I want to bring it to their attention because you may not be aware of that. This invites other things. So
Also, if you start. adding
Frankly, it might be
deep
worth
fryers
your
or
while
anything like
consulting.
that, You're
That's
you're
a-
talking, it's all, but then you gotta come see me again.
Yes, yeah.
the hood ranges and everything else.
I don't know if it's
Fire
worth having them
suppression.
come back in January without county approval. Because we would still need to
Oh, that's true,
overturn the
too.
county.
Yeah,
you need a
super-
I'd need a supermajority.
Right, right.
So
And
you should go back to
without
the
a-
county before
yeah,
coming to
That's
us,
a good
right?
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you need 5.
Which is too late for.
So too late to get onto
It's
this
too
now?
late to get on the.
You know, the county did not, I would imagine that they didn't act in their official capacity in a certain way because they were under the impression of like, what this was gonna look like, right?
Mhm.
Like, not necessarily what these guys seem to be committing to as far as this.
Right.
So
Why,
county's gonna have to,
why couldn't we approve it? As long as it meets all the required laws. You know, so we're it's an approved convenience store, and then whatever might fall, not be legal. It's up for them to work out later. We don't have to work it out here.
Well, it's up to us to determine if the special use permit,
that,
to grant that or not.
that would be my concern. The special use permit allows for these like specific like, case by case.
Yeah.
Suggestions or approvals or analysis. Like this one is different than the next special use.
There's no
permit.
caveats attached or caveats attached.
So to AJ's point,
Otherwise,
we can approve it with a supermajority over the county, right? So if they came back to us next month, they wouldn't have to go to county. We could approve it if we agreed with their.
Are there other than the tobacco products, are there other?
well, they have lungs in there. They have.
That'll get affected by our local tobacco retail license law, which is a new
Yeah.
legislation in New York State has allowed municipalities to do, given the legalization.
Mhm.
How are we supposed to regulate? Products that you can't say that that's what that is. You can say whatever it is, but it's been vetted and bigger communities are doing it, but everybody knows what that stuff is. Right. And it's to each his own, but the concern is that that opens the door to some other things. I'm not saying these gentlemen would do that, but that's what allows for the legislation. And you guys have that power, where the city does, to weigh in on local tobacco retailers. That's just another level of scrutiny, but it might be worth your while, fellas, to talk to a private practice attorney to make sure that you check all those boxes. And come back here with all your ducks in a row, so you don't have to worry about. Roy coming.
So can you just tell us, what if you were gonna come back next month, just a quick, brief summary of what you were planning to sell. Do you plan to make sandwiches like in a deli? Can you articulate what your vision is? And with the idea that you would come back next month with a written proposal, but.
That's a good question, but given that they had to change horses in Mill Stream right now, I think they should have some time to reflect on this. Because they can give you a thumbnail sketch, but I don't think you're prepared to answer what in brief you want to present. Because now you've been told that you can't do what you thought you could do.
Yeah. No, well, the idea we was going for, if you guys have been to like the city, you go to like a deli, they'll have like the cold sandwiches, hot sandwiches, they'll have like chips and beverages. And they'll have like cigarettes. That's what we like mainly want. Like, I don't-
Cigarettes
yeah.
is the problem.
Yeah, that, if it's that, we can't have them. It's all right, we'll just stick with, grocery, yeah,
Yeah,
old food, hot food,
but then also.
Groceries may not be a bad idea.
because, yeah, the
Yeah,
Convenience.
yeah,
The location over there, it's like nobody's close there, it has like groceries, like
right.
chips, some vegetables maybe. Milks and eggs, stuff like that. So, yeah, maybe that.
Right, I just wanted to get an idea in case there's something else that we could guide you towards writing, as you put this together,
Yeah.
nothing binding with
Thank you.
what you said right now.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah,
We do want to encourage businesses.
Right, right.
Just want to-
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, I don't think I have an issue with a convenience store, but again, you know, you get into a convenience store and then you're selling beer or whatever else. I don't know if there's any.
Alcohol's definitely not.
Alcohol, tobacco.
that already has to
No.
be checked.
Yeah,
Right, right.
We can't even sell alcohol in the first place for
Okay,
other stuff.
okay.
So am I getting a consensus that we'd like to table this until next month or at a future meeting when they have a chance to kind of regroup and come up with what they're gonna be selling? Is that what I kind of hear?
That's what I'm hearing. I'm
Yeah,
still
it
wondering
sounds like
if
it's gonna
there's a
go back to
way.
the county though still first.
No, I
I mean,
think
if we take the tobacco products.
They don't need to, but why would we go against the county? Why would we go against the county? Just.
Well, we're not- County was turning it down based on, I assume, the smoke shop,
Yeah.
Right.
not the
So if we
convenience.
remove that from the equation, I don't think anybody has an objection.
But that's about confused them because it sounded like he did with the special use, opening up something, if we did do the supermajority, bypass the county, but then it opens us up for other things, but that's what I was clear on.
That's why he wanted, that's why the attorney wanted to come back as with a clear vision,
Yeah.
clear plan of what they're gonna sell, so you guys can
Right,
see.
I'd rather see
They're gonna
that.
sell A, B, C,
That's why I'm
and D,
saying
and
not-
nothing else.
right.
I realize it's gonna be a delay because they're gonna have, it's gonna be longer than the January meetings, the county.
Well, no, they can come to our
No.
January meeting. We can do it with super majority over
That's
at
what
the
I'm saying,
county's
if we have
decision.
supermajority.
As long as we
don't
understand
get
what
counted,
it is they're selling, I think we're okay.
Then we can give them the special use permit if we agree with
And we
what
can
they
specify
propose.
right in there, this is what you're gonna sell, and if they don't sell those things, Roy can win, shut it down.
Right, right, right.
You know,
Right?
We'll go through the process of pulling the special use permit. I'm not gonna go.
I'm sorry, I'm
I
sorry.
cannot
I
shut down a meeting.
misspoke, Roy, I'm sorry.
At least if that's what it's.
So,
Chris, that works for you?
any further discussion, or Chris, what do you think?
I guess I'm not. Are you familiar with the exact language on the, like, tobacco products, what exactly we're talking about, or?
There's
There's
two
different
things we're
levels of-
talking about. We're talking about marijuana paraphernalia.
Yeah.
And we're also talking about actual cigarettes. and
So like
nicotine and
tobacco.
everything else. So there's two levels of stuff we're talking about.
Yeah,
Both of those initially came into play here. Now they're saying they're taking them away. I think what AJ wants is a clear, concise. This is what you're doing, this is what this board is gonna allow you to do.
Mhm.
Any deviation outside of that could lead to
So-
potential revocation of your permit.
So they would come to
I
us.
think, I mean, I think we should have it, if we're asking them to come back, then we should have. More clear what we're looking for. I think the grocery items are
Yeah,
pretty
Fine,
straightforward.
yeah.
And food.
And I
Sandwiches.
think there's a consensus on the marijuana paraphernalia, whatever, however that's defined.
but there are some things on that list that you necessarily wouldn't think. Could flip flop either way.
Yeah,
So you want to clear the fact, we can get that information to you, obviously.
Now, is anybody gonna do, there's a phrase that says, do what you inspect, not what you expect. Is anybody gonna inspect so that's going the way it should go? Before they open?
Or while they're open, we have a code officer. that
Okay, so
will-
they will be visiting and checking
So
out.
Yeah.
so
I see.
we'll, hopefully they'll be open for more than 3 years. It's a commercial occupancy. They get inspected every 3 years. However, to get their certificate of occupancy,
Mhm,
which as you stated, which they did not have to open the business, so to be able to get that certificate of occupancy,
mhm.
I will come and make an initial visit before we issue that
Okay,
certificate of
okay,
occupancy.
okay.
So right now, you have to get a certificate of occupancy.
But which you won't get until these guys.
Right.
but you would also visit if you got a complaint that there's something, it's
Absolutely.
complaint driven also, so.
You would put together a plan, what your business model, right here, what you want to do, and come back to us in January 6th, right?
Between now and then, the paperwork won't be filed until you give the approval, if that happens. So in other words, they can't, well, if they get their plan together in terms of what they're gonna sell, then I just want to clarify, so there's no wiggle room. They get their plan together, they come here to you gentlemen. And I'm using the term loosely. And you will then verify or accept their plan. Then you go and Roy will go there, inspect the place. And, well, once you got the approval, and anything else, and you guys are only gonna have what we're stating, because it falls on us too.
Yeah.
Okay. Just,
Yeah, we would review their proposal and then decide amongst ourselves whether we were going to issue the special use permit.
Okay.
It's helpful to be as specific as possible when you're presenting that plan. Convenience store covers a lot.
yeah.
Would you recommend that they include what they will have and what they will not have in that?
What they
We
will
will
have
not, we
presupposes.
will not, like, the special, or, I mean, it'll sound more like the special use permit does not allow the sale of X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
But they can
Mhm.
present that information in their proposal, sure.
Okay, yeah, that's
But it
right.
might,
Okay.
there's a lot of permits that will be required of this, especially if you intend to sell food. Or deli type sandwiches, so it might be worth your while. Talking with some objective. Professional. Just to make sure you don't get miss a box.
Yeah, I was wondering how they're gonna get that information, and guide themselves through that. Like, who they deal with, the health department.
Code enforcement office is pretty good about zoning is, if this is what you're thinking, this is what you're gonna need.
Okay,
And
okay,
points,
so
But,
that's the.
we can't tell you what.
Yeah, so not a deep fryer necessarily.
No, it creates all kinds of mess.
So I guess from our perspective, we need a motion to table this until January's meeting.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Chris, you want to make that motion? Second?
I'll second it.
All right, you guys? All right, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor of tabling this until next month to give these guys a chance to get their list together, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, so good luck till next month, okay? Hopefully you come up with a list that satisfies everybody. All right, all right, good luck, you
All
guys.
right, thank you.
You guys tell me, and I'll tell you exactly what they're gonna expect.
Okay.
Okay.
And then.
Good luck, gentlemen.
Because it's in that.
Wait a minute, Ellen.
Okay, our next item on the agenda is to approve last month's meeting. Now, I wasn't here, so Mr. Ryan, you're gonna have to look this over and.
I read over the minutes.
Yeah, and I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're gonna wait to approve them, that's okay.
This gentleman turned something.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were with this group. I'm sorry.
No.
My apologies. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Still gonna need-
You're gonna cut you off.
It's the meetings that talk about like bus schedules and stuff. And that's gonna require,
Mm,
I've never been to a city hall meeting, so I kind of don't really know what I'm doing.
It's the planning commission, we discussed zoning.
Zoning laws and special use permits and,
I saw
Site plan reviews. yeah.
The bus is, I can get you afterwards contact information
All right, thank you.
about where those
Thank you,
things
everybody.
get
All right,
decided,
good luck.
All right,
about the bus.
all right, cool.
Trying to add a bus stop somewhere?
Mostly just about schedules, because they're not very great.
Pretty inconsistent.
There is a new bus provider, let me see if I can pull this contact up.
No, Greyhound still runs, but I don't know what their
I meant more
schedule
like
is.
the city.
I think it's city buses?
Local bus.
Oh, you're talking local?
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy might have that for you.
I'll look.
So he's calling that.
Yeah.
Did we approve those minutes?
What's that?
While he's doing that, we. approved
Oh,
it.
yeah, you wanna check over, ask if there's any questions about it, because I was absent.
I didn't see anything.
All right, anybody else see
Anybody
anything
else
about the
see anything?
minutes they wanna add, correct, modify, delete? I think I covered all this.
No,
Yeah, I don't feel qualified.
I'll make a motion to approve the November fourth,
Thank you.
2024 meeting
I
minutes.
don't,
Okay, any further discussion?
oh, this.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? I gotta abstain because I wasn't here, because I can't really approve something I wasn't here.
You don't have to abstain.
I don't, just keep my mouth shut.
Any way you want.
Oh, I don't want to say no, because I don't know if they were accurate or not.
You'll trust all of our judgment.
Well,
That
no, I
doesn't
do
have a lot of
trust you, and if it
faith.
was on the fence, I would probably vote to. Man,
I basically said you didn't trust Chris how he ran the meeting.
No.
That's.
I know, can do a fine job.
I know how to read through that.
I didn't do a good job at all.
No, you did fine.
Yeah, don't let me do it again.
I'm not planning on missing anymore, but you never know.
I haven't seen the final.
In terms of, next year's meeting schedule, I.
And then
hope
the
to
actual
have
license that.
That available. We're still waiting on county,
Okay,
planning board meeting dates. But, you know, unless anybody here suggests otherwise, we're planning to, again, be
first Monday.
Monday.
Does anyone have a problem with first Monday?
I will be out of town.
Well, I mean,
Monday, January?
Other than that,
I think it's really, I'm just checking my calendar.
So it's really just a matter of us setting the deadlines for
Yeah,
submission
this
based on
Sure.
county.
We'll plan on the sixth and then we'll take it from there, you know? Okay.
How is this new plan where we go before or? We switch things around with zoning.
With zoning.
Is that working well? Like, cause you guys,
So it would work a lot better if I got the agenda stuff out to you in a more timely fashion. You're not seeing the benefit. You have not been seeing the benefit of it because I have been getting myself back into a time corner, getting it out to you. So my New Year's resolution will be to get you the material a minimum of a week ahead of time. Because we can do that.
okay,
Good on you.
The flow of the projects, though, is that going, well, I guess, I mean, I'm fine with the time I'm
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
materials,
yeah,
but
okay,
is the
too.
flow of the projects working better?
Like, not holding people up, wanting to
That's
get
the
work
question.
done.
Well, so, all right, that's another different discussion, I guess. So right now, the application deadline is running, generally speaking, about a month to get
Beforehand.
it,
On the
submission
Right.
to here. Less time for,
The ZBA.
let me just double check my.
Roy, would you agree with that, that the timing, since we switched to be how we moved our meetings, is it working better for the flow of?
Absolutely.
Okay, all
That
right.
people aren't waiting as long, unless they missed the deadline.
Right.
They're waiting.
Yeah, so, yeah, I guess it
That's good
depends on
news.
what you, classify as waiting. So for instance, if it is very close to 30 days. In some months, it can be more, like 30 days, 36 days from the deadline that you submit till you get to plan it. Less time for ZBA. They're normally 1 week earlier than you, depending on the number of months. Sometimes it can be 2 weeks earlier than you. So they're waiting 3 weeks to get to the ZBA, generally 4 weeks to get to you.
Is there any way you can just say 30 days before our meeting starts or our meeting for a deadline? Or is it
So
too? See, I don't know.
legally,
Right.
fortunately, we live in an area where the majority of things that will come to you guys have to go to the county.
County first, okay, all
And
right. Just curious.
correct me if I'm wrong, AJ, but you guys are not supposed to approve anything without the county getting their eyeball on it. I mean, we've done it in
We've
the
done
past.
the county contingency thing, but it just creates a
Follow
cluster for you folks
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
if they have like their own conditions that come
Right.
back to you anyway, so.
Right.
At least.
so I guess yeah,
If they approve. it
well, it's working,
first,
it's
go-
working.
It's not perfect, but it's better than it was.
I think it's better, you know, we may or may not have that stuff back from county in time to push it out to you. And we can do a better job of when it does come in, making sure it gets pushed out to you in advance. I had brought up with Roy the idea, right now, our deadline is noon. The day of the county planning deadline. Which puts him, you know, people are submitting right up to that, our deadline. Like he's gotta get it all done Friday afternoon. By whatever time they want.
4 o'clock Friday afternoon.
So, you know, I
It's a pain.
suggested, well, what if we gave him more time? That he's not getting backed into that kind of corner. But that would make. It would add further time from submission to getting to you.
All right.
You know, would add a couple of days, but.
So what, just so you guys also know, what we've developed along with AJ's help is a waiver form for the ZBA and for you guys. What that waiver form does is it tells people that we understand that your contractor might be scheduled here. But however, you gotta go through A, B, and C boards, which are way beyond your scheduled contract.
Right, right.
Um,
So it's like a conditional waiver saying
it's
that.
a
yeah.
waiver that says you can start,
Right.
but
This is what
understand that they might have changes you have to
2025
make.
would look like if the
Understand? I
county
It's
keeps
not.
their schedule.
Right.
It's not disapproving what you guys do by any, so if you guys make a decision that you don't want it, they gotta take it out, that's what this waiver
Waiver
says.
says, yeah, yeah.
And they assume the risk, right?
Yeah, and so,
Yeah, yeah.
That kind of helps some people keep that, like. They tend to go on center. We've had a couple doozies lately, but like. In that situation, they're less. Hesitant, or they're more hesitant to operate outside the confines of their. Plan, which a lot of people do. Like,
Right. Just
well,
they
I
gotta
did
get
it,
going.
and
Yep.
Yeah,
make them do it.
yeah.
Just.
Right.
we've had a couple situations, like you said, but the majority of the time,
They stick to it.
they stick to it, or. They'll say, no, you can wait, I don't wanna sign this,
Right,
so either way, it's a win-win, yeah. But we developed this recognizing that when you have a contract scheduled, you probably need to get that work done, because it is so difficult to find a contract.
find a contractor, yeah.
While still telling them it's imperative that they go to your boards, or
Yep.
you guys. and
Yep.
All right, the last thing we just need is a motion to adjourn.
You got it.
All right, motion second,
I'll say it.
second, all those in favor?
Yep.
Anyone opposed? All right, so you guys on January sixth.
Let me get you, so.
Still like curious, but you're just signing paper. I'm just curious that real thing.
Oh, yeah, we didn't see the
You
mural.
got
So they
city
described it.
government,
But if you
city hall,
the
and you
visual
got
on what
county
they,
government.
the artist
And
described.
they, county oversees this, the
Very
bus
little nudity.
stuff.
There wasn't.
Very little.
So this right here would be the contact information for the county.
Very little.
Department.
That's
They're responsible.
That's perfect. Approval.
Yeah, all the adult stuff's gonna be all up here.
We're still being recorded.
We do have on the agenda on our website, meeting,
No, Joe, maybe I'll see you.
schedule.
Yeah,
If
I don't
you
know.
go to this
I-
agendas
I'll,
and minutes,
When I see him, I'll say something.
it'll show you
Guys, they're based.
the agenda for all the upcoming meetings and
It's a
minutes,
Christmas party.
But I think Kevin
past
will be back.
meetings.
Kevin Dick will be there, so that's,
Yeah,
Carlos wanted to play.
This
too, I
meeting,
think.
CBA, common council, we live
But I'll-
stream
it is what
it,
it
and
is. I
then
can
there's
text or whatever.
Oh, Jersey,
a
he'll probably
lot
call
of
you
the.
your Wednesday.
Saturday
All
night.
right.
from the
Yeah, it's
government
called,
that's
I'm reach out to you.
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
All right, sounds good.
All the food,
But.
I can tell you, I know the food's gonna be good.
Yeah.
So,
You making some this year?
I always kid,
No,
Nice. That's the 14th, right?
Yeah.
And we just supposed to call her and let her know.
yeah, if you're gonna make it in that one. I always make too much anyways.
All right,
Is
thanks,
there
guys.
something?
Think I'm gonna know.
Anything?
Yeah,
Huh?
I can't make
You
it
want us to
this
bring
year.
anything?
So,
Taking care of an aunt who's in home hospital.
yeah, if you go to the website,
So I was
under
going every
government,
weekend to take care of her.
boards
I'll
and
be there, sure.
commissions, that's a list. of
There'll still be
all the
some-
Different types of.
there'll be some left
committees
over
that the
on
City has and boards.
Tuesday.
I'm looking forward to
And,
it.
there's,
What did you, are
A
you
schedule.
getting yourself in?
Oh, I don't know.
we update
I'm gonna
that.
be-
for
I'm gonna be
2000.
swallowing